I'm Chris Van Vliet, an Emmy Award-winning TV host, and I'm obsessed with how people are wired to achieve greatness. On my podcast, Insight with Chris Van Vliet, I reverse engineer the habits and techniques of high performers so you can apply them to your own life.
Good morning, Vietnam! This is Nick of the Tennis Podcast.
This is Brandon, wondering, do we have any listeners in Vietnam?
I don't know.
Or are you thinking about the Vietnam War?
I was thinking more Michael Scott. But I'll tell you, I'll bet we have listeners in Vietnam.
I don't even know how to say hello to them in their native tongue.
Brandon, this is the show where us two no-good sons of bitches cover top 10 lists every week in every genre.
Yep.
One of us brings a list and the other guesses. And this week on episode 119, brought to you by the wonderful Blue Wire Podcast Network, we are going to cover Brandon's list, which is some ground that we have tread before. However, got a new way to organize this ground we've tread before. We're going to be talking about the U.S. presidents, the 10 heaviest U.S. presidents. Oh, interesting. The heaviest U.S. president.
Heaviest.
Now, when you say heaviest,
Mm-hmm.
do you mean the gargantuan weight of their accomplishments?
No, I mean specifically in pounds, in gross tonnage.
When you say pounds, do you mean like the UK currency?
No, this is weight. This is by weight in pounds.
So booty, basically, how much booty meat they got on them.
I didn't.
It's another way to say it.
Yes. Now, it's not an indicator of like body mass index, although that is available for each president. I thought that would be a little bit unfair. I thought it would be best just to take the simple weight. Which ones weighed the most? And we've talked about the worst presidents, the best presidents. How else we've talked about the smartest presidents?
Yeah.
But we have not talked about them in terms of just how much they weigh.
So this is a pure weight. This is a number. Like the highest number is number one, basically. Highest number on the scale. My first question is getting the weight of the president like part of the entry process to get it? Like when are people collecting the weight? I mean, you know what I mean?
I know that in modern day, the president has a physical. The results of his physical are released every year. You know, the president's health and, the line of succession for American leadership, is a big deal. So knowing how healthy the president is, especially since they're usually kind of old, is really important. So yeah, I know in modern day, they release their height and weight and other significant figures or significant factors, like if they have high cholesterol or blood
or 1 to 10 what their sex drive is.
Yeah. Their horny factor. But it sounds like they've been a physician has been taking these measurements going all the way back to Washington.
Huh.
Okay, so before we get into the list, I want to somebody mentioned fat shaming to me on Twitter recently. And I think they were joking, but this is not an episode about fat shaming. It's really that our most popular episodes have been about historical figures or historical events. Presidents are familiar historical figures, and there's lots of different ways to organize and rank them. And I have been wanting to do biggest and smallest celebrities.
Smallest.
But
I love the idea of the smallest.
But the
cutest.
Yeah, the criteria for celebrity is there's no data for that, but there is definite data on these people, yes or no, were a president, and this number was their weight. Also because it's funny.
Well, now you're fat shaming, but I got you.
It's just jokes.
We will not use the word fat on this episode. We're going to use the word...
I'll use every word except that then.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, and before we start, I want to give a shout out.
Did you clarify which country the presidents are? Are these presidents of Uganda?
The United States of America presidents.
Oh, strange. I'm surprised you went with that one.
The data comes from www.potus.com, which sounds official until you go there and you realize, this website was probably made 25 years ago.
You're right.
It's just a repository of facts about presidents, like their weight.
It's very basic. I'm there now.
Yeah, it's a good. Stay off of it. There's a whole page that'll fucking ruin this.
Okay. Can I ask a clarifying question? Is this their weight while in presidency? Or
Yes, this is their weight during presidency. Okay. And lastly, I will scratch 2 guesses off of your list right away. The lightest presidents were Andrew Jackson at 140 pounds.
Holy shit.
Not only was he 140 pounds, he was 6'1".
I haven't been 140 pounds since like the fucking, I don't know, middle school.
And you definitely weren't 6'1".
Well, I used to be 6 foot. I was actually born 6'1". I've been getting smaller since.
You got a Benjamin Button deal.
Yeah, but with size.
Yeah,
and
old
age.
hickory was built like a twig, like a tree. But the lightest president was James Madison. He weighed 100 pounds and he was 5'4". He was also the shortest president.
I did not realize he was so dainty.
He was petite.
Well, now we're skinny shaming.
Yeah. Well, you can scratch those off your list. Don't guess those. Start thinking big boys.
Okay, well, I'm going to start my guessing without the list of presidents in front of me. So going only by memory, I'm pretty certain of number 1. I think most people are probably pretty certain of number 1.
Okay.
Okay, so let me think here. What's fucking Hoover's name? Herbert
Hoover?
Right.
No, he is not in the top 10. Herbert Hoover.
I had the name right, though?
Yeah,
Okay.
Herbert Hoover is the 15th heaviest president, he weighed 187 pounds, or 84.8 kilograms. I have the metric here, too.
Here, I thought you were a United States patriot. Now you're bowing down to the...
Socialist?
I see how it is. Well, 15th place is what, 180 pounds?
187 pounds.
That's pretty good then, because there's been 46 presidents now.
Yeah,
and that means
most presidents, I think the average weight for a president is about 178 pounds, which right in the middle of that is where Joe Biden is the 20th heaviest president. He weighs 178 pounds.
That is so crazy. That means Joe Biden is in the top 50% of heaviest presidents, and you would never guess that looking at him. I'd put him in the top 50% easy on the whitest, wrinkliest ass of all the presidents. But
well, that's quite an accomplishment because it's nothing but old, white, wrinkled ass, and one
alabaster, doughy bum bums,
and one very smooth brown bubble butt. I don't know. I don't think.
I didn't. No, that's weird. I didn't think JFK was that brown.
I don't think Obama has a bubble butt. He's a pretty lanky guy.
Yeah, Obama's in good shape. Okay. Well, now I'm looking at this a little differently because now I know that 180 something pounds is the 15th.
Right.
I can start looking at all presidents really. Because even your in shape presidents could be heavier than that.
Right, there's some tall presidents.
Depending on their body.
Yeah, there's some tall presidents in here.
So why don't I give, I'm going to guess this guy's around 10 or maybe just outside 10. Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton is number 5 on the list.
Holy shit. Well, I guess he was kind of...
At his heaviest, which was, I think, maybe the beginning of his term, he weighed 223 pounds.
I should have known better because, nowadays, he's super skinny and shrunken. But he did have a little bit of meat on the bones back in the day.
He did. Our 42nd president, who served from 1992 to 2000, loved McDonald's.
Well,
there was a Saturday Night Live sketch because there were pictures of him jogging with Secret Service, and then there's a Saturday Night Live sketch with Phil Hartman as Bill Clinton jogging into a McDonald's, and he kept taking a bite out of everybody's food. So yeah, he was 223 pounds, 6'2", so he's a tall guy. He started losing weight in his post-presidential years, but in September 2004, he underwent quadruple bypass surgery.
Yeah, but who hasn't though?
Which is bypassing every artery I think you got. And then in March 2005, he again underwent surgery for a partially collapsed lung. In 2010, he was rushed to the hospital with chest pain and had 2 coronary stents implanted in his heart. And that's a lot of
So he's got a bad heart.
That's a lot of McDonald's damage. Now, that was February 2010. After this procedure, he adopted a plant-based whole foods or vegan diet, which had been recommended by doctors Dean Ornish, who will come up again later. He's been vegan since then. Now, I thought he lost a significant amount of weight in around 2004, 2005, but clearly just losing weight, at least where he was concerned, was not enough to clear up like his like arteries and health problems. He switched his diet, which is now like starting to make me freak out about what I eat all the time.
I was just thinking that like 223 pounds is, definitely more than I am, but it's not like worlds different than I am.
Yeah, you don't think of 223 pounds like, oh God, I'm in mortal danger, but yeah, evidently you are.
Yeah.
So yeah,
well, Bill, I know you're listening. Glad you're doing better.
Yeah. Bill, listener of the show, I would guess now he probably weighs probably in the
72 pounds.
Yes, he weighs exactly 172 pounds.
Well, I said 72. Like
oh
he's
God, no.
He certainly looks like it. Okay, so is that Bill?
That's Bill. Number 5.
Well, you said we're going to hear from one of those, snooty doctors again.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes me think a contemporary of Bill Clinton is on here. With that knowledge in hand, I will guess George W. next.
George W. Bush is not in the top 10, although he is only barely out of it. He was number 11. He weighed 191 pounds, or 86.6 kilograms.
Well, how about his daddy?
There you go. His father, George H.W. Bush, is number 10. Weighed 196 pounds and was 6'2" tall. And I say was 6'2" because now he is 6 feet under the ground. Did you remember he was dead?
Do I remember what?
Did you remember he was dead?
I remembered he was dead. Believe me.
Oh.
I usually wake up in do
yourself.
a mental checklist of who do I know that's dead.
Well,
George H.W.
I'd forgotten he was dead, so I had to re-grieve all over again when I was doing these notes.
Who was it? I think it was Ben Kissel on last podcast, that said, even when he's 6 feet under, his hand still sticks out and grabs women inappropriately as they walk by his grave.
He liked to give a goose. Our 41st president, George H.W. Goose Bush, was the president from 1989 to 1993. He did not like broccoli, which...
Okay. Well, okay.
Now,
controversial.
196 pounds at 6'2".
That's still pretty light.
Is it? I mean...
For 6'2", it's at least average.
Maybe it's just like...
It's not above average.
It might be just like a few pounds overweight. Maybe just a few. Maybe like 5
Well,
or
now
something.
you're definitely fat shaming. Now I see where that person was coming from. Shame on you.
Overweight is not a fat shame word. That's just the clinical. We're being clinical on this episode.
No.
Now, do you remember that he vomited the Prime Minister of Japan?
I need you to tell me the story because I did not know that.
You were very young, and I barely remember this, but on January 8th, 1992, he was visiting Japan. He played a doubles tennis match during the day with the Emperor of Japan, Akihito, and his son, the Crown Prince Naruhito. And the Emperor and the Crown Prince beat President Bush and his partner, a former U.S. ambassador to Japan. So that kind of set the stage for a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
And that evening, he attended a state event, a banquet, hosted by the Prime Minister of Japan, Kiichi Miyazawa.
Yeah, I love Kiichi.
It was a state event for 135 diplomats, and it was held at the Japanese Prime Minister's residence.
Mm-hmm.
Now, President Bush was supposed to give some remarks at the dinner, but he didn't, because instead he fainted in his chair and he fell over, but with his face in the lap of the Prime Minister and then vomited in his lap.
This is 93?
1992, January 8th, 1992.
Because 93, he would have been almost done being president, but okay.
Right.
So why did he faint? Do we know?
Well,
did he see a nice booty walk by and he just went, oh,
no,
and then fainted?
After he regained consciousness, he said it was just the flu and he left for the evening. But yeah, he vomited all over the Japanese Prime Minister. Lots of people are saying that Japan poisoned him.
Why, though? They already beat him at tennis. They've already proven themselves. They don't need to poison him.
Yeah, lots of people didn't say that. I think I just said that.
Listen, you know that no matter the cause of the vomit, could have been a good reason or a dumb reason. Either way, you know that's the type of thing that Japan will never forgive. It's just like Poppy peeing on Jerry's couch. Jerry will never get over that, no matter what Poppy does from then on. He'll always have a little spot in his mind where he's upset about it.
You think the Japanese are holding that lap vomit over our heads?
If not our heads, then at least the Bush family's heads. But you know what? That's probably the least of things that people can hold over the Bush family's heads, so...
Yeah, good point. Actually, George H.W. Bush probably killed some Japanese during World War II.
True. And then JFK.
Yeah, and then he killed JFK. All right, that's George H.W. Bush, number 10.
Do you think after hearing this episode, George Bush will dig up his father's grave? George Bush Jr., that is, will dig up his father's grave and then do a dance over his dead body about how he's the skinnier Bush? Do you think that's possible?
I doubt it.
Am I crazy?
I doubt it.
Still possible, though. Okay, well, so I got 5 Billy Clinton and 10 George H.W. Why don't I go... Who's president before George? Well, that was Reagan, right? I don't think Reagan... Well, Reagan was pretty tall. I guess I'll go ahead and guess Reagan, maybe number 9.
Nope. Ronald Reagan is the 16th heaviest president. He weighed 185 pounds, or 83.9 kilograms.
So now we're close here, though. Like 10 through 15 are all very similar weight. All right. Besides a certain insurrection-inducing recent president, is there any other recent history presidents on the list?
No.
Okay, so I need to go back then. How about, now some of these presidents, I can see their face, but I don't know if I've ever seen their fucking body. Martin Van Buren.
No, he's not on here. But usually if they had a big fat head and neck, the rest of the body followed suit.
Okay, well, I'll tell you a skinny-ass motherfucker, but a tall-ass motherfucker. Abe Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln is the 18th heaviest president. He weighed 180 pounds. But he was the tallest president at 6'4" tall.
Oh, that's it, huh? I thought he was like 6'6" or something. Don't get me wrong, it's tall. It's tall. Back then, he was like fucking Goliath in those days.
Yeah.
All right. Well, fuck. Okay. Now, keep in mind, ladies and gents, I'm going by memory here. James Buchanan.
James Buchanan is on the list. He is number 9.
Knew it.
No, he weighed 198 pounds.
What a fat ass.
Now, you may remember James Buchanan.
I don't.
From our 33rd episode. Episode 33, we talked about the worst presidents. And this son of a bitch is one of them.
Whoa!
He's the 15th president from 1857 to 1861.
Right before Abe.
Which is a big clue about why he's one of the worst presidents.
Yes, I got you.
He weighed 198 pounds and he was 6 feet tall. Yeah, he has one of those kind of sloppy neck areas.
Let me look at his sloppy neck area. Sloppy neck area. Well, I got to tell you, I'm looking at his portrait now. Mm-hmm. Not very flattering.
No, there's not a lot of flattering angles around Mr. James Buchanan. After he left office, people thought he was dog shit, and he...
Even at the time, right?
Yeah, at the time. Yeah, it was during the Civil War. Some of people called the Civil War Buchanan's War. Bad thing to have associated with your name. He started writing public defenses of himself, which sounds like a real twerp thing to do.
That sounds like a good thing he didn't have Twitter back then, huh?
And he wrote his memoirs. He called it Mr. Buchanan's Administration on the Eve of Rebellion, which is fucking lame, and it was published in 1866. So soon after the publication of his memoir, he caught a cold in May 1868, which quickly worsened due to his advanced age, and he died on June 1st, 1868 of respiratory failure.
I'm looking at a book cover right now from Robert Strauss, and the name of the book is literally Worst, President, Ever, with a picture of James Buchanan.
Now, do you want to hear some salacious shit about James Buchanan?
Oh, I fucking do.
Here we go. His wife, Ann Coleman, she died. he never got with another lady after that. He was a lifelong bachelor after that, and it drew a lot of interest and speculation. It led some writers to surmise that he was a homosexual. One of his biographers suggests that he was celibate, if not asexual. He had a close relationship with a guy goes by the name William Rufus King, and they became a popular target of gossip. King was an Alabama politician who briefly served as vice president under Franklin Pierce. Buchanan and King lived together in a Washington boarding house and attended social functions together from 1834 until 1844. So when they were a little bit younger, they were about on the town together all the time.
They were doing like strip poker, stuff like that.
Now, this kind of living arrangement was common then, although King once referred to the relationship as a communion. Andrew Jackson, who was a bit of a dick, called King Miss Nancy.
Sorry.
And prominent Democrat Aaron V. Brown referred to King as Buchanan's better half, wife, and Aunt Fancy.
Was he hanging around the White House too during the presidency?
I don't know. This was, well, actually, maybe so. It was indicated that Buchanan late in life wrote a letter acknowledging that he might marry a woman who could accept his lack of ardent or romantic affection.
What the fuck does that mean? That's not how you get a woman, bro. Just going on and saying, by the way, I have a lack of affections.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that you want to like be forthright, let people know what they're getting into, but...
I shan't be hugging you. That's James Buchanan, number 9, 198 pounds.
You know, I did a Google search for this asshole, and I found an image with like quick trivia facts about James Buchanan. And it says one of his nicknames was 10-Cent Jimmy. You know anything about that?
No.
Let me do a quick search. Why was James Buchanan called 10-Cent Jimmy? The latter was given him by the Republicans in the presidential campaign of 1856 after Buchanan said 10 cents was fair daily pay for manual laborers.
What a douche.
Man. Okay, that's 10-Cent Jimmy number 9. You said he was what, 193 pounds?
198 pounds.
Extra, read all about it. We're standing here at the corners of Peanut Butter Boulevard and Hot Dog Road, passing out the news. It's the Tennis Podcast monthly newsletter, and as long as you got eyes, it's 100% free. Sign up now to get our newsletter hand-delivered by our personal paper boys directly to your inbox on the first Friday of every month. Each newsletter contains the first look at upcoming episode topics, which means you'll know the list topics weeks in advance, helping you plan your life around our episodes. Plus, it's the only place to read Brandon's official blog, The Sidekick Corner. Brandon uses The Sidekick Corner to rant and rave monthly about what's going on in the world. Readers have called The Sidekick Corner everything from great to, pretty good. Not only that, but newsletter readers get exclusive behind-the-scenes notes and tidbits, monthly merch discounts, and more. Signing up could not be easier. Literally, all we need is your email address and the soul of your firstborn child. Take 10 seconds now and go to tennispod.com/newsletter to sign up and start getting your world news from Tennis Podcast. That's 10ishpod.com/newsletter. We'll see you in your inbox.
If you're looking for more horror outside of the mainstream, look no further than Unsung Horrors, a podcast about underseen horror movies. I'm Lance.
And I'm Erica. Every other week, we'll cover a horror movie with fewer than 1,000 views on Letterboxd. We'll even give you double feature recommendations to pair with the movies we discuss.
From gothic to shot on video, from slashers to comedies, from giallo to J-horror, we'll cover all the subgenres. So join us as we unearth these hidden gems of horror.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Unsung Horrors, available wherever you listen to podcasts.
You mentioned another asshole during that talk about him. Who was that you just said? It was another president. Oh, Franklin Pierce.
No, he's not on here.
James Madison.
No, we just said James Madison is the lightest president.
Oh, well, I thought maybe you were joking.
No, he weighed 100 pounds.
Sorry, I'm thinking of John Adams is who I wanted to say.
No, John Adams was also one of the smallest presidents. He weighed 150 pounds.
All right, well, why don't you fucking marry him then? Listen, I'm going to start looking at the neck area of these presidents. I don't have any choice but to do that. And I have to tell you, I remember talking about him being the most forgettable president in history, but that neck is a little more memorable than some of the others. Millard Fillmore.
No, Millard Fillmore is number 25.
Surprising. Chester Arthur.
Chester A. Arthur. Now that boy has
4.
some neck. He is number 4.
I fucking knew it.
He weighed 224 pounds. Let me tell you something about Chet.
I couldn't tell you a single fucking thing about Chester
Well, turns
Arthur.
out,
I couldn't even tell you his party.
Turns out there ain't much worth knowing about Chester A. Arthur. Our 21st president served from 1881 to 1885. He weighed 224 pounds and was 6'1". Now, we have spoken about him before. He was one of our smartest presidents, which we covered in episode 84. He wasn't smart enough to not be a great big fat person. Now, he served as...
Oh, come on. He's not a big, huge fat person. He's just a little overweight, but he's fine.
He served as quartermaster general in the Civil War. Shortly after becoming president, he was diagnosed with Bright's disease, now known as nephritis, which is an inflammation of the kidneys, and this caused him to noticeably lose weight during his presidency. So I think he probably weighed 224 at the beginning, but he was ill, and he lost weight throughout his presidency.
Almost every president prior to the 1900s died very shortly after leaving the presidency.
Yeah. Do you think it was because they were so sad and missed it, or because like life was awful and medicine was shit?
That. He died a year and a half after leaving office. I'm looking now.
Yeah. He had no vice president during his term, which
why?
I don't know. I knew you were going to ask, and I never did bother to find out why. He owned at least 80 pairs of pants, though. Which may not be a lot by today's presidential standards, although I do think it would still be a lot.
That means he could wear pants for 80 days without ever washing a pair.
That's crazy. It was quite the extravagance back in the 1880s.
Well, he was known as Elegant Arthur, and now I know why.
So that's all I got on Chester A. Arthur.
You can't have 80 pairs of pants and not be elegant in the 1800s.
He was a very elegant looking man.
Hell of an ass on him, too. You're going to hear that a lot in today's episode. Hell of an ass, because, when you got some meat on the ass, it stands out.
He has a very soft, doughy underchin area.
Yes, which is fine. That's fine if you have that. But his successor was Grover Cleveland, who I'm going to guess next.
Yes, Grover Cleveland
is number 6.
2.
Oh.
He weighed 260 pounds.
Oh, Jesus, that's a big jump from... Now, give our non-American listeners...
Oh, yeah, I forgot. I got the Grover Cleveland weighed 260 pounds or 117.9 kilograms. And he was 5 feet 11 inches tall.
That's not a healthy BMI.
He got to be president twice, but not in a row. He was the 22nd president, and then also the 24th president. He served from 1885 to 1889. Yeah. And then everyone was like, fuck that guy, switch to do something else. And then they're like, oh, fuck, we had it right the first time. And he served again from 1893 to 1897. Now, let me tell you why he is a bit of a fucking idiot.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't like this fact about Grover. Now, during the Civil War, if you were a rich dick, you could pay $150 and have somebody serve in your place. And Grover Cleveland did this. He paid $150, which is the equivalent to $3,115 in 2020. So imagine, you don't have to fucking imagine very hard. Imagine America is under a civil war, okay? Mm-hmm. And some rich dick pays a poor person, a 32-year-old Polish immigrant named George Beninsky, $3,115 to serve in his place in the Civil War.
Why would you... I know that's a lot of money, especially for a homeless person, but...
Well, he wasn't homeless. He was just an immigrant.
Oh, I thought you said homeless. Poor, whatever.
Yeah, he was poor.
But the odds of you coming back in a good place to collect on that, I don't know.
He did survive the war. It doesn't say anything about whether he had any physical or mental wounds. But yeah, he was paid $150, which is a little over $3,000 in today's money.
But wasn't that guy going to be drafted into the war anyway?
Yeah, but if he was anyway, at least he got some money.
Maybe not because he's an immigrant. Yeah, that's okay.
Grover Cleveland pussed out of the Civil War, and he didn't seem to get heavy looking at his pictures until he became the mayor of Buffalo, New York, and then the governor of New York. He became a literal fat cat.
Whoa.
Well, not a cat. I guess the cat part's not literal. He became a fat cat.
The literal part doesn't work there.
So he was age 47 when he entered the White House as a bachelor. He didn't have a lady friend, and his sister Rose Cleveland joined him, acting as a hostess for the first 2 years of his administration. Now this is where he gets even more disgusting and creepy, and you are all free to openly hate on Grover Cleveland. In 1885, the daughter of Cleveland's old friend Oscar Folsom visited him in Washington. Now Oscar Folsom had passed away some years before, and his daughter, Frances Folsom, had known Grover Cleveland all of her life. She was a student at Wells College. She came to visit. When she returned to school, President Grover Cleveland, received Frances Folsom's mother's permission to correspond with her, and they were soon engaged to be married. On June 2nd, 1886, Grover Cleveland was age 49 when he married Frances Folsom, age 21, in the Blue Room of the White House.
Hey, well, true love doesn't know an age.
True love is extremely aware of the age, and I will go even further, show how disgusting Grover Cleveland was. This marriage was unusual because Grover Cleveland was the executor of Oscar Folsom's estate. He was the executor of her late father's estate, and he had supervised her upbringing after her father's death.
Okay, now that's, yeah. So he basically raised or semi-raised her and then married her.
Right. When she was 9, someone asked Grover when he might be expected to find a wife. And he made the teasing comment, "I'm only waiting for my wife to grow up."
It's not too far off from what our most recent president said about a 14-year-old girl.
If she wasn't my daughter, perhaps I'd be fucking her.
Well, that too.
He said dating her. Anyway, that's Grover Cleveland. Big piece of shit. He's number 2 on the list.
And I'm looking at that POTUS website, and it says religion, occupation, political party, and under education, it says, quote, no formal education, which to me means he didn't even go to elementary school.
No, it was pretty casual.
Okay, so I got George Bush at 10, Jimmy Buchanan at 9, Bill Clinton at 5, Chester Arthur at 4, and Grover Cincinnati at 2. So let me see here. Is Donald Trump number 3?
Donald Trump is number 3.
Knew it.
Fucking allegedly.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
Number 3. Yeah, and so number 3 on this list is provided by official government sources, which would never lie to us, is Donald J. Trump, weighing 239 pounds.
No fucking way. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so according to bullshit, our 45th president, who served from 2017 to only a few weeks ago in 2021, weighed 239 pounds and was 6 foot 1 inches tall. Now, this motherfucker has said he's 6'3" forever. Although there's pictures of him next to people who were 6'3" and they're 2 inches taller than he is.
He's such that stupid little kid.
He's a bitch.
That everyone knew in school that had to one up everyone. But he's like that as the fucking 70-year-old president of the United States.
Yeah. Yeah, he likely weighed more than 239 pounds. I don't think that he weighed as much as the heaviest president on this list, but I think he was much closer to Grover Cleveland territory.
Mm-hmm. And look, I don't think Trump, I don't know, I wouldn't consider him obese.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I'm not even
would.
saying you would? Okay, well.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I definitely consider him, I won't use the F word, but he's large. Maybe he's obese. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, he might be technically obese.
But just looking at a picture of him, especially when he's wearing his golf stuff and he doesn't have a suit jacket to hide behind, and I don't think he's wearing a girdle. He looks like he is medically obese. But, because we're getting lies from the White House physician, or we were.
Fake news, you might say.
Yeah, we were getting fake news from these guys. But we have pictures of him, especially when he's like coming up or downstairs. You can really get a good look at his body, even though he's hiding behind, all of his suits are tailored like sweatpants. So it's hard to get a good look, but there's enough photos that the Washington Post had some experts weigh in on these photos and
pun intended,
talk about what his real weight probably is. So one of these experts was Norm Stamper, a 34-year police veteran who retired as Seattle's chief in 2000, and now he's an author and speaker. He's looking at this photo and he says, as Trump's getting off the plane, for me that's the most revealing. His gut's hanging out there. He's always wearing a dark suit, which is slimming, I guess. If a police officer were asking me to describe a suspect, I would say he looks to be about 250 pounds and maybe more, maybe 260. I would, of course, be forced to describe his hair because it's a very distinguishing characteristic, so you'd have to use some imagination. I can't tell if it's combed forward or back or both. I would describe it as a swirling haircut.
That's fair.
That's fair. I said we were going to mention this fella again. Dean Ornish, cardiologist, author and founder of the nonprofit Preventative Medicine Research Institute, who's also credited with persuading Bill Clinton to become a vegan. Now, Ornish said he would not speculate on Trump's exact weight, but he noted by email, even more important than Donald Trump's weight is how unhealthy he looks. I was at the debate last week at Hofstra and had the chance to see him in person. He has said on many occasions that he is on a fast food diet of burgers and fried chicken and french fries, and he looked like it. Unhealthy complexion, puffy, pasty skin, sweating a lot. He looked like Morgan Spurlock at the end of Super Size Me.
It wouldn't be, it would still be bad, but it wouldn't be as pronounced if he didn't fucking insist on the orange fucking makeup and spray tan that accentuates every gross feature he has.
And there's plenty of them. So here is a typical day in the life of Trump in his meals. So breakfast, he says he's not big on breakfast. He doesn't like to eat the first meal of the day. He told Fox News' Jesse Walters, if I can, I'll avoid breakfast. In terms of that, I'll have a lunch, but my big thing is dinner. Breakfast, Jesse, if I can avoid it, I'm very happy to do that. When he does have breakfast, he eats either bacon and eggs, cereal, or a McDonald's McMuffin. He doesn't drink coffee or tea. He said, my favorite would be bacon and eggs, bacon medium, and the eggs over well. Now lunch.
Okay.
Go ahead.
When you say he has a McMuffin, I'm sure he had his share of McMuffins in the White House. So he's sending some aide or intern out to get a McMuffin, right?
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's just a funny visual to think the people at the McDonald's serving food don't realize that, this McMuffin or this bag of 9 McMuffins is for the President of the United States.
It's a good thing for him that they don't know it's for him. Now for lunch, he is reportedly not a big fan of eating much during the day. His food habits were revealed in the book Let Trump Be Trump, written by his former campaign manager, Corey Lewandowski.
Yeah, if only someone could let Trump be Trump. Yeah. That's all. He's never really had that chance.
He's always leashed. So he claims the president would usually go 14 to 16 hours without eating.
Wow.
And then he would fucking change that shit up at dinner. This is where he goes to town, having eaten lightly the rest of the day. He's a big fan of fast food, including McDonald's, Burger King, and KFC. His preferred order, according to Corey Lewandowski, is a full McDonald's dinner of 2 Big Macs, 2 Filet-O-Fish sandwiches, and a small chocolate shake.
Wait, he has all that in one meal?
Yeah.
One sitting?
He says a full McDonald's dinner of 2 Big Macs, 2 Filet-O-Fish sandwiches, and a small chocolate shake.
But you know what? The biggest crime in all that is he's missing the best fucking part of McDonald's, which is the fries.
Yeah.
There's no fries there.
He's also a fan of pizza, but he doesn't like to eat the crust.
Oh, you fucking asshole. Anyone who doesn't like to eat the crust of pizza is a fucking snooty asshole. There, I said it. Just fucking...
Unsubscribe?
Yeah. Just unsubscribe. Because seriously... Well, and by the way, I think we touched on this in our last President's episode, but there's a popular rumor / maybe fact out there that Donald Trump, when he's at Trump Tower, he gets room service, and he gets a pizza with the toppings of little mini pizzas on top of the pizza. Remember?
Yeah, I did hear that. When he's not eating fried chicken or burgers, he enjoys a good steak, except he likes them cooked well done and served with ketchup.
No.
And
Donald.
now, he also loves Diet Coke, reportedly drinking 12 cans a day.
Oh my God. Brandon.
A 12-pack.
How is he still alive?
I don't know.
Still alive? Did you hear about the Diet Coke button on his desk?
Yeah, I was going to say that my last note on here is there's a Diet Coke button on the desk. Biden had to have it uninstalled. There was like 2 phones and a wooden box with a red button on it. And Trump showed off to some journalist once. He was like, check this shit out. And he pushes the red button and a butler comes out and brings him a Diet Coke. That's the only thing that button does is make a man come out with Diet Coke.
I mean, I won't lie. That is a button I wouldn't mind fucking having on my desk. But I don't know. I mean, that's
12.
I told you all you need to know. 12 a day.
That's.
Is he drinking water at all?
I think the most of the water he's getting is from the Diet Coke.
Man.
I've seen him drink water at speeches and stuff. Remember they made a big deal?
Remember when he struggles to drink it with 2 hands?
Yeah. So he drinks water sometimes.
Donald Trump. And he would tell you, I'm the healthiest president there's ever been.
He's got good genes.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else on Trump?
That's it.
Okay. Well, if you do want to hear us talk shit about Trump more, just listen to
any episode of our podcast.
Any other episode we've done. Exactly. All right. So I just need 4 more. Who was I was going to mention real quick, actually. On that POTUS.com, they have a list. They have every president's presidential picture, like their official picture.
Yeah.
And you're looking through, it's all smiles. And if it's not smiles, it's like a warm look at the camera. You get to Trump and it's a literal frown. He's literally frowning at the camera. Yeah. It's worth looking up. Okay.
He's a tough boy. That's why he scowls. All those other presidents were pussies. They didn't scowl. God.
I'm going to say number 8 is FDR.
No, Franklin Delano Roosevelt is not in the top 10. He was number 14. He weighed 188 pounds.
Now, is that with or without the fucking walking sticks?
Yeah, old Ironsides is just wheelchairs not count.
Ulysses.
No, Grant was very small. He's not on the top 10.
Getting tongue-tied. How about the fucking meanest looking man I'm seeing in all these pictures, which is John Quincy Adams?
No.
How'd they weigh motherfuckers back in the 1800s and shit?
On a big scale.
Yeah, I guess they had the scale, the old-fashioned scale, which doesn't require electricity. When was that invented, I wonder?
We'll never know.
This is good. This is good bonus episode material. I'm writing this down. All right. I'm looking. I feel like. I'm trying to. Okay, Gerald Ford.
You're looking at their pictures to tell who's big, right?
Yeah, Gerald Ford.
No, Gerald Ford is not in the top 10, although he is very tall.
Theodore Roosevelt.
Theodore Roosevelt is number 6 on the list. He weighed 210 pounds and he was 5 foot 10 inches tall. Now, his is probably a mix of muscle and like huskiness.
Yeah, he does have a husky face, I have to say.
But very like athletic, as we'll talk about here. He's the 26th president, served from 1901 to 1909. He was sickly and asthmatic as a youngster. He had to sleep propped up in bed or slouching in a chair for much of his childhood. He was in poor physical condition as a result. His father pushed him when he was young to take up exercise, including boxing lessons, and that influence stuck. After he graduated from Harvard, he went to the doctor for a physical, and the doctor said that due to serious heart problems, he should find a desk job and avoid strenuous activity. And Roosevelt was like, he probably got so mad he slapped him. He disregarded that advice, and
how'd they measure the heart back then? They fucking like stick their hand down their throat and like feel around in there?
They probably stick like the open end of a horn to your chest and the pointy end into his ear canal.
Okay.
And he's like, you've got bumps in your chest area.
Okay, well now you're being ridiculous.
So as an adult, he said, fuck that, I'm going to exercise all the time. And he took up boxing, tennis, hiking, rowing, polo, and horseback riding. As governor of New York, he boxed with sparring partners several times a week. and even continued to regularly box his president until one blow detached his left retina.
Oof.
That left him blind in his eye. And he didn't make that fact public until many years later. After that, he practiced jujitsu and continued his habit of skinny dipping in the Potomac River during winter.
Oh, him too, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, so he did all kinds of stuff living the strenuous life. He did cowboy shit out in the Dakotas. He led the Rough Riders in Cuba. I think all of that rough riding and cowboy shit and jujitsu and boxing and exercise is what allowed him to survive an assassination attempt.
That's right.
In October 1912, while campaigning in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Roosevelt was shot by a saloon keeper named John Flaming Schrank. The bullet...
Flamin?
Flamang Schrank. I just call him John Schrank. I'm not going to say his middle name again.
All right.
By John Schrank. The bullet lodged in Roosevelt's chest after penetrating his steel eyeglass case and then passing through a thick, single-folded copy of his speech, which was 50 pages. So the speech was 50 pages. It was folded over once. So that's 100 pages. And it went through a steel case and then into his chest.
I thought when you said thick to describe his speech, and at that point I thought you were going to say his thick body.
Oh, well, his body must have been thick because, we'll get to that. So Schrank was disarmed immediately and captured, and the people might have even lynched him if Roosevelt had not shouted that Schrank should remain unharmed. He said, "Schrank shall remain unharmed," and it is very hard for him to say. Roosevelt assured the crowd that he was okay, and he ordered the police to take Schrank and make sure that nobody lynched him. Now, because Roosevelt was an experienced hunter and anatomist, he correctly concluded that since he was not coughing blood, the bullet had not reached his lung. So he declined the suggestions to go to the hospital immediately. Instead, he delivered his scheduled speech with blood seeping into his shirt. He spoke for 90 minutes before completing his speech and accepting medical attention. His opening comments to the crowd gathered there were, "Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know whether you fully understand that I have just been shot, but it takes more than that to kill a bull moose."
I gotta start opening our pod that way. But referring to yourself as a bull moose, also a bold move.
Well, it was also the mascot of the Progressive Party.
Ah.
So afterwards, they did an x-ray and it showed the bullet had lodged in his chest muscle, his pec, but it did not penetrate the pleura, whatever that is. The doctors concluded that it would be less dangerous to just leave it alone than to try to remove it. And Roosevelt carried the bullet with him for the rest of his life.
Was he not in tremendous pain during the speech?
He said how did he describe it? He said he was as unaware of it as like a pocket watch in his waistcoat.
You think he's just trying to be a tough guy when he says that?
Probably. He had a fucking bullet in his chest.
Yeah.
He was always trying to be a tough guy. Like, dude,
Well, he was a tough guy, to be fair.
I know, but come on, we get it.
Yeah.
You can every once in a while can be like, oh, this fucking bullet that lodged in my chest hurts sometimes.
Hurts sometimes, yeah.
Your company's salary cap is probably tighter and you can't afford to miss on a new hire. Every person you add needs to fit just right. Indeed.com is the hiring site that helps you find quality candidates instantly, so you can do the part you really need faster, meeting and hiring great people. Indeed searches through the millions of resumes in their database to help show you great candidates instantly. With Instant Match, you see a list of great candidates with zero wait. Want our quality shortlist fast? You need Indeed. Right now, our listeners get a free $75 credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/Blue Wire. This is Indeed's best offer anywhere. Get a free $75 credit at Indeed.com/Blue Wire. Indeed.com/Blue Wire. Offer valid through March 31st. Terms and conditions apply.
To show you how easy it is to file a claim with Geico, we hired sports commentator Dick Vitale.
Tonight's matchup is me versus an ugly fender bender. If I can eke out a win, it would be a miracle, baby.
Mr. Vitale, it wouldn't be a miracle because Geico gives you a team of experts to help manage your claim.
It's gonna be a nail-biter.
Nope. The Geico team is there for you 24/7.
Now that's a dipsy-do dunkaroo of a claims team. Geico is awesome, baby, with a capital A.
Geico. Great service without all the drama.
Remaining are numbers 1, 7, and 8. And numbers,
I know 1.
Yeah, you definitely know number 1. Number 7 and 8 might be a little bit harder to guess. So let me give you a clue.
Hang on, I do have one guess.
Okay.
Unless you want to just
give me that other guess.
William McKinley.
That is a great guess. Why did you guess him? Just by looking at the picture?
Yes.
I'm looking at his picture. Oh yeah, I remember that picture. I specifically made a note about his neck fat. William McKinley weighed 199 pounds. That makes him number 8 on our list.
Knew it.
Speaking of assassinated presidents,
Yeah.
he's one of them. He weighed 199 pounds. He was 5'7" when he got cut down.
Gee, I mean, you didn't have to put it like that. But.
He was president from 1897 until his assassination in 1901. He was the 25th president. He had neck fat and kind of a pear shape to him. There's some pictures. Man, there's one, if you can find it from the side, he has just a sweet little complete pear shape, and he's wearing like a little tuxedo or something. McKinley was the last president to have served in the American Civil War. He was the only one, I thought this was kind of cool, he's the only one to have started the war as an enlisted soldier, beginning as a private in the Union Army and ending as a brevet major. So he was shot on the grounds of the Pan American Exposition, which is like the World's Fair, Pan American Exposition, at the Temple of Music in Buffalo, New York, on September 6, 1901, 6 months into his second term. He was shaking hands with the public when anarchist Leon Czolgosz,
Yep.
it's Czolgosz.
Well, what does that say? I mean, yeah.
Leon. So Leon shot him twice in the abdomen, and McKinley died on September 14th.
He died later. Why waste an assassination attempt
on William
such
McKinley?
A forgettable president? No one talks about William McKinley.
He was very loved.
You didn't even know his assassin's name.
No, some guy named Leon, and the name, how would you say? CZOLGOC.
ZZ
I
Top.
can't even fucking spell it.
If you're going to assassinate a president, at least have a fucking normal ass name so we can all recognize you.
You got to call him Leon. So Leon regarded McKinley as a symbol of oppression. He was convinced that it was his duty as an anarchist to kill him. He was unable to get near the president during an earlier visit, but as he was shaking hands in the reception line, he shot McKinley twice. One bullet just grazed him. The other entered his abdomen and was never found. Initially, he appeared to recover, but he got gangrene in the wound and died. Now, Leon Czolgosz was sentenced to death in the electric chair, and then Congress passed legislation to officially charge the Secret Service with the responsibility for protecting the president.
You're saying after that?
Yeah,
was when that started?
It was not their official charge to protect the president before then.
What was their fucking official charge then? Fucking clean the car?
Good question.
There was no car. Clean the horse carriage?
I don't know. I think they look over the mints too, like the printing of money.
Boring.
Okay, so you got number 7 and number 1. You say you know number 1. I think you probably do. Number 7 is not ancient history. You may not know him as being big in his weight. You may know him for being big downstairs.
Oh, this sounds familiar. Who is this? Yes, we've talked about this. Harding.
No.
Hayes.
No.
Oh, you know what? It's Lyndon B. Johnson.
It's Lyndon B. Johnson.
Yes, he would pee out in the fucking yard, right? Or whatever?
Yeah. We'll discuss where he was peeing. He weighed 200 pounds, but he was also tall. He was 6'3.5" tall. So just a hair shorter than Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
He's her 36th president. He served from 1963 after Kennedy's assassination until 1969. He grew up, big like farm boy from Texas, and I think he probably ate like one too. He had
he ate one too. He ate a farm boy from Texas.
Yeah, he ate one of them. So in March 1970, right after he was out of the presidency, he had a heart attack, or he had angina attack. Whatever that is.
A vagina attack?
His angina. Attack of angina.
His angina attacked him?
He was taken to the hospital in San Antonio. He had gained more than 25 pounds since leaving the White House. He now weighed around 235 pounds and was urged to lose considerable weight. He had also resumed smoking after nearly 15 years of not smoking. The following summer, again gripped by chest pains, he lost 15 pounds in less than a month on a crash diet. He had more heart issues after that, and then he died in 1973. Now, I said, he's not just big in stature, he's also big downstairs.
Oh, baby.
He famously nicknamed his great big penis Jumbo.
Oh.
He called it Big Penis Jumbo.
There's something about
He once exclaimed, "Have you ever seen anything as big as this?" while brandishing it to a White House staffer.
Was it a female or male White House staffer?
Just a staffer.
Okay. A sexless, genderless staffer? Got
What
it.
are they supposed to say? Have you ever seen anything as big as this? Well, I mean, I've seen horses, I've seen trees, I've seen buildings, but if you're talking about
I've seen the rest of your body. I've seen your body as a whole, Lyndon. I've seen your leg. But listen, even if Lyndon B. Johnson was the world's most attractive man, and believe me, he wasn't, but if he was the world's most attractive man and people wanted to see him naked, and again, they didn't, but if they did, the very idea that he named it Jumbo, that in itself is like major turnoff. I'm not even interested anymore, asshole.
Well, you might be interested to know that he retrofitted the presidential bathroom to have a nozzle pointing directly at his penis. He told the White House staff reportedly, "If I can move 10,000 troops in a day, you can certainly fix the bathroom any way I want." And yes, he would whip out old Jumbo and he would pee on the White House lawn while talking to staff and legislators.
That is not fucking cool. Like, this is 1960s. People knew that wasn't cool in the 1960s.
He just didn't give a fuck. Now, while researching this, I also stumbled across some audio of Lyndon Johnson ordering pants. He's speaking to like a tailor or someone at the pants store. And
the pants store, yep.
It sheds some light on his weight and his ding dong.
Jumbo.
So here we go. Here's my reenactment. So he's talking to the tailor over the phone. He's telling him that he needs his pants to be about an inch wider. And he says, I need 2 or 3 inches of stuff left back in there, because he says he can vary 10 or 15 pounds in a month. He was talking about the pockets, and Johnson said, "When you sit down, everything falls out, your money, your knife, everything. So I need at least another inch in the pockets." Which, hold on a second. Why is he carrying a fucking knife?
Because he's from Texas, and that's what you do when you're from Texas.
Yeah. And another thing, the crotch, down where your nuts hang, is always a little too tight.
Uh-huh.
So when you make them up, please give me another inch I can let out there, because it cut me. It's just like riding a wire fence.
Riding a wire fence.
Now,
well, Linda, not all of us are so blessed.
So hold on, for this last bit, I have to do a little bit of Foley work, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So then he goes on to ask the tailor, "Steve, can't leave me an inch from where the zipper ends, around and under back to my bunghole, so I can let it out there if I need it."
Wait, through the zipper?
He wanted to leave him an inch from where the zipper ends, around back to his bunghole, so he can let it out there if he needs it. And
something about
that burp after zipper, after he said the word zipper, is also in the audio.
Oh, I thought that was just you being a disgusting pig, but you're saying it's him being a disgusting pig.
No, that was the Foley work I was doing. I had to make myself burp. That was performance.
Was that Diet Dr. Pepper fueled?
No, that was just, okay. That was just me.
That was just talent? Raw talent? Well, listen, a 50, 60-year-old president calling it a bunghole instead of any other word that's jumbo territory as well.
I can't get over the audio of what he says. And another thing, the crotch, down where your nuts hang, is always a little too tight.
He's president during this, right?
Everybody knows the crotch is where your fucking nuts hang.
He just liked an excuse to talk shop.
Yeah, he's talking shop. That's right. All right,
Lyndon B. Johnson. He's not my favorite president.
I think we're about to talk about your favorite president. Why don't you tell me, who do you believe is the heaviest president?
I don't believe, Brandon. I know. And that's my boy, that jolly old giant himself, Mr. William H. Taft, at number 1.
William Howard Taft is indeed number 1, the heaviest president. 6 feet tall and weighed 340 pounds, which is
respectable.
pretty good size guy.
How many kilos is that?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so for our metric listeners, William H. Taft weighed 340 pounds or 154.2 kilograms. He was our 27th president. He served from 1909 to 1913. When he was at Yale College, the heavy-set, jovial Taft was a popular student and an intramural heavyweight wrestling champion.
Uh-huh.
He went by the name Uncle Eubangus.
Eubangus.
Eubangus Uranus?
Ah.
I made the part up. He didn't have a name, a wrestling name.
Oh. What the fuck?
He was elected a member of Skull and Bones, the Yale secret society co-founded by his father. He was one of 3 future presidents, including George H.W. Bush and George W. Bush, to become a member. They're a creepy secret society. Now, back to his girth. Elizabeth Jeffrey, the White House housekeeper, wrote in her diary about a talk she had had with Taft and his wife, Helen Nellie Taft, about Taft's girth. She wrote, "A little before 8:30, the president and Mrs. Taft and the family would come down to the private dining room for breakfast. As a rule, he would eat 2 oranges, a 12-ounce beefsteak, several pieces of toast and butter, and a vast quantity of coffee with cream and sugar. In looking through my diaries of this period, I found that on November 27th, 1911, I have a note which reads, 'The president weighs 332 pounds and tells me with a great laugh that he is going on a diet, but that things are in a sad state of affairs when a man can't even call his gizzard his own.'"
His gizzard.
His gizzard.
Well, at least he had some oranges in there, right?
Yeah, 2 of them. So several Taft biographers reported that he became stuck in the White House bathtub and 2 aides had to lift him out. Also, a valet tied his shoes.
Oh, because he couldn't reach his shoes.
Yeah, he couldn't reach them.
Well, I still say that tying his shoes is less demeaning than fetching a Diet Coke for the president.
He would also fall asleep. Senator James Watson observed, "Most of the time he simply did not and could not function in an alert fashion. Often when I was talking to him after a meal, his head would fall over on his breast and he would go sound asleep for 10 or 15 minutes. He would waken and resume the conversation, only to repeat the performance in the course of a half an hour or so."
The performance.
Yeah.
You know what I like? I'm looking now, he lived into his 70s. Maybe you're going to tell me about heart issues he had, but I don't see that. So it's just kind of like this cruel fact of life that someone like Billy Clinton, who, yeah, he'd like to eat his barbecue every now and then, but he was still a 220 at his heaviest. This asshole outweighed him by 100-something pounds. Life is cruel. That's all.
Well, the rumors about the president's health started getting out of control. His military aide, Major Archibald Butt, was powerful. No, come on. This is a major in the military.
Every time I hear the last name Butt, there's usually an S on the end, which makes it a little more digestible. But just the hard butt on there.
An S makes the
It's
butt
Archibald.
go down a little easier. Well, have some respect for Major Archibald Butt, military aide to William Howard Taft. Now Major Butt wrote. Oh, I'm about to tell you about the wise words of Major Butt. He says, "He looks terribly," Butt wrote.
Sorry. Is it spelled Pete?
B-U-T-T. Major Archibald Butt. "Who's laughing? Which one of you sad enlisted men wants to give up your leave for having the balls to chortle the name of Major Archibald Butt?"
If you open the show with this, we could have just talked about this the whole episode instead of all this other shit.
All right, now listen, we got to talk about what Butt wrote.
Okay.
"He looks terribly," Butt wrote. "His flesh looks like wax, and his lips are thin, and he is getting those unhealthy bags under his eyes. I begged him to see a specialist, for I felt sure that all his drowsiness was due to some toxin in his system. His response was a slap on the back, followed by, "Archie, you go to hell. I will not be hauled around by specialists."
Archie, you go to hell. Fuck, I love William Taft. Somewhere along the way, you also mentioned he was jovial.
Yeah,
so this
he
guy
does sound kind of fun. Like, he's like, "I'm worried about you. You look sick. I'm worried about maybe you have some poison or toxin in your system." And he laughed and slapped him on the back and said, "Go to hell. Fuck doctors."
Major was it Major Booty?
Butt.
Oh, Major Butt. Okay. Did he say that publicly while Taft was in office?
No, he wrote it, so it was probably like in his letters or something.
Okay, I love it.
That's
Major
it.
Butt.
We did it.
Fuck.
I told you we ended on a high note.
I left a note while you were talking that I wanted to address. You know, Taft was a big boy, 340 pounds. Now, you know, we argued about Trump being medically obese. There's no arguing Mr. Taft. Do you think he has to have double or even triple the body elves to function his body?
The bigger you get, you have to have more elves. The elves can't get bigger.
Well, as a quick reminder, if you're new, Brandon believed as a child that little tiny elves controlled every part of his insides. And so I'm wondering, does that mean that, okay, like you're a body elf, and William Taft at some point in his life was a normal-sized person or average-sized. Does that mean that as they notice he's getting bigger, they're like, fuck, we gotta start reproducing, double up the reproduction? And, you know, they set aside some rooms for the lady elves. Or do the elves like appear scientifically and shit because of the expansion of the body? Because they need more labor in there.
Well, for one, they don't reproduce sexually. They
don't?
No, they reproduce asexually. They grow like gremlins.
Okay.
And it's just on how much.
See, I knew I had to ask the expert.
It's based on how much work there is to go around. Like, if you're 340 pounds, but like you're very sedentary and you don't eat a lot, you're just big, like for whatever reason, you may not need a bunch of extra elves. But if you're eating 2 oranges and a 12-ounce beefsteak for breakfast with a bunch of toast with butter on it, you need a bunch of elves. You need all hands on deck to handle all that shit.
Yeah, well, they also got to, I think even if he's sedentary, I mean, you still got to like work the sweat machines and stuff because, you know, big people like to sweat like that. I mean, there's all kinds of little functions that you're not even thinking about.
You know, I looked up Archibald Butt.
Oh, no, I got to do it.
No, I found the meat. A wide range of reasons were given why Major Butt never seemed interested in women. Chief among these was that Major Butt loved his own mother so much there was little room for anyone else. Even Taft thought this explanation was true. At the time of Major Butt's death, rumors swirled that he was about to lose his lifelong bachelor status. Some speculation exists that Major Butt was a homosexual.
A homosexual? Interesting.
Historian Carl Anthony has written that Taft's explanation only vaguely addressed the real reason Major Butt failed to marry. Davenport Hines, however, believes Major Butt and Millet were gay lovers. He wrote in 2012, the enduring partnership of Major Butt and Millet was an early case of don't ask, don't tell. Washington insiders tried not to focus too closely on the men's relationship. They recognized their mutual affection, and they were together in death as in life. The fuck does that mean?
Taft seems like a cool guy. He was understanding of this even in the early 1900s.
Yeah, I mean, that's good, but why were they together in death?
Well, maybe that just meant that they were at each other's side.
Whoa,
when they died.
What the fuck? He died on the Titanic.
Oh, he did?
Major Butt died on the Titanic.
Did his boyfriend die there too?
Yes. Oh my God, listen to this shit. They should have done the movie Titanic about this. Okay. Major Butt left on a 6-week vacation in Europe in March 1912, accompanied by his friend Millet. He boarded the ship in Southampton, England. Millet boarded the ship at Cherbourg, France, later the same day. Major Butt was playing cards the night of April 14th in the first-class smoking room. The Titanic struck an iceberg. The ship sank 2.5 hours later, lost over 1,500 lives. So let's see. I'm reading all this for the first time, so there may be some we have to cut out. But Major Butt's actions while the ship sank are largely unverified. One account had the ship's captain, Edward J. Smith, telling Major Butt that the ship was doomed, after which Major Butt began to act like a ship's officer and supervised the loading and lowering of lifeboats. The New York Times also claimed that Major Butt herded women and children into lifeboats. Another account said that Major Butt, gun in his hand, prevented panicked male passengers from storming the lifeboats. Another versions of events said Major Butt yanked a man out of one of those lifeboats so that a woman could come aboard. In this story, Major Butt declared, "Sorry, women will be attended to first or I'll break every damned bone in your body."
Wow.
That's one bossy butt.
Well, and the Titanic in 1912, Taft was still in office at that time. So this he lost his butt during his presidency. But he still had plenty of butt to go around, all right?
Yeah, he was all butt.
Well, fuck, he died age 46 on the Titanic. That's pretty... This is... What an interesting factoid to end on. But I have one that's even more interesting than all that. Ready? Archibald Willingham
Butt.
Geoffried Clarendon Butt.
Oh, God, he's got a whole bunch of names.
He has 3 middle names.
He was born to Joshua Willingham Butt and Pamela Robertson Butt.
What I don't understand is butt is the word butt, and you have 6 names to choose from. People go by their middle name instead of their last name all the time. This guy was a proud butt.
When did they start
he didn't want to let the name butt.
When did they start calling butts butts? Holy shit, look at this picture of him next to Taft. All right, we're going to have to end on this, but look at this shit.
Are you sending it to me?
So Butt is on the left there. Kind of looks like a normal military aide. And then Taft in the middle is like 2 men wide.
You weren't kidding about 2 men wide. I think it's a good time to reiterate what you said at the top. That, a lot of our listeners may also be struggling with their weight. We're not necessarily making fun of
it's just
his
jokes.
weight. Yeah, it's just jokes, but also the fact that he is so far ahead of every other president in history. He stands out. He's remembered because of this.
Yeah.
People still bring up Taft's weight.
80 pounds more than the next heaviest president.
Yeah, so...
And they're about the same height.
I hope no one took offense. That's all I'm saying. Okay, well, we ended on a high note. You want to take us back through the top 10?
All right, that top 10 again. Number 10 was George H.W. Bush, 196 pounds. The 9th heaviest president, James Buchanan, 198 pounds. Number 8, William McKinley, 199 pounds. Number 7, Lyndon B. Johnson at 200 pounds. Number 6 was Theodore Roosevelt at 210. Number 5 was Bill Clinton at 223. Number 4, Chester A. Arthur, 1 pound heavier at 224. Number 3, Donald J. Trump at 239 pounds.
Yeah.
Number 2, Grover Cleveland at 260. And number 1, the heaviest U.S. president to date, William Howard Taft at 340 pounds.
Yep, with double the body elves. Well, that was a hell of a list, Brandon. Hell of an ass on these gents and a hell of a list.
Thanks.
Well, I have a hell of a podcast reviews to read, too. First one comes from Funny Peeps 91763 on Apple Podcasts. I thought this was actually a pretty cool review. They said, "A great reprieve from this crazy world. I was looking for a fun podcast to listen to as a break from all the true crime I'm obsessed with, and I definitely found it in 10ish Podcast. I've listened to 3 episodes so far, and I am hype to binge it even more. What a cool concept and great hosts that make me laugh. Check it out." So we're the bright spot in this person's day, Brandon.
That's nice.
Hopefully they don't listen to our serial killer episodes.
Oh, well.
But actually they should.
They know
yeah,
all
I
that
hope
shit
they do
already.
listen to it. Yeah. Well, thanks for the kind review. It makes me feel good. Funny Peeps. The next one comes from Nikki on Apple Podcasts. "I legitimately was laughing so hard I was crying. I loved every moment and will recommend it forever," with 3 cry laughing emojis. What Nikki doesn't realize is that is legally binding. She will have to recommend this podcast till the end of time.
Like in the future when people are spending all day in virtual reality or it's like the Matrix, you're in virtual reality, but your body is like stuck inside some goo that keeps your body alive, so your brain can be used to power. Very detailed scenario you're getting into, but yes. Your brain is used to power Jeff Bezos' his heated bathroom floor. In that future, is she still going to be going like, "Do you guys remember what a podcast is? Because
I got this great one.
I've got one that is going to make you laugh little bubbles into your embryonic jelly that we all live in now."
this might be a look into the future. She might be the first person to live forever because she'll have to live forever to recommend us forever. So
Maybe she's a vampire.
hey, I'd be fine with a vampire listener. Thank you, Nikki and Funny Peeps. And if you want me to read your review, then go rate us 5 stars and write a review on Apple Podcasts or Podchaser. Yeah, I hope, like Nikki, you'll also recommend us forever to your friends, even in a Jeff Bezos floating head world like Brandon needlessly detailed a moment ago. Appreciate it.
I think that's that.
That's that. We are going to leave now, but if you'd like to listen to more, we do have a bunch of President episodes, as Brandon mentioned. That's 2, 33, and 86. Those numbers are our President episodes if you want to check it out. In the meantime, you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube at TennisPod. You can follow me at TheNickAmel.
Oh, you can follow me at Sidekick Host on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. And my last plug, if you want to get all future episodes early, days before anyone else hears them, and also ad-free, you can do that at patreon.com/tennispod.
Also
right,
nudes.
well, huh?
Also nudes. We don't...
Nudes of us?
Yeah, we don't do nudes.
Nudes of butt, perhaps. I saw when I was doing a Google image search, they did it where they did his name, last name, comma, first name. It said, butt, comma, Major Archibald. So
He's got a good one. Good name.
yeah, rest in peace, Major Butt. All right, thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Thanks.
To show you how easy it is to file a claim with Geico, we hired fitness celebrity Billy Blanks.
Okay, everybody, our car just got a broken windshield. How about we blow off some steam? Now punch, now kick.
Mr. Blanks, there's no need to be stressed. Geico makes it easy to file a claim online, on the app, or over the phone.
Yeah, but what if I never hear back? That's gonna make me want to go jab and jab.
Nope. Your Geico claims team is always there for you.
Okay, do I still get my post-workout protein shake?
Sure, Billy. Geico, great service without all the drama.